Hey guys, Drifter here. Today I've got a video for you that is a multiplayer review of Black Ops 4. I've done several of these in the past, however, I was flown out to Treyarch courtesy of Activision, and I got to play a nearly final build of the game. It was so final that we played it live on the PlayStation Network with matchmaking and leveling and pretty much everything going on. Given all the love that Blackout is getting and multiplayer is kind of being pushed to the side, I thought I'd do a multiplayer video and sort of re-review multiplayer now that I've played the final build and give you a new opinion and kind of let you know what they changed. The gameplay you're seeing is on a new map as well. I didn't want to show off any of the old maps even though I had better gameplay on them. I just thought you would want to see something new. Unfortunately, I couldn't show you any of the new guns because we had to unlock them through the progression system, which was taking way too long. So, in short, multiplayer is largely unchanged from beta in a lot of ways, which is kind of to be expected. I think a lot of people wanted the beta to be one thing and then the multiplayer to be like an entirely different game. There was a lot of pushback on specialists, there was a lot of pushback on abilities, on flow. There's just a big chunk of the community that just like wants Milsim Modern Warfare 3 again, which this was never going to be. You can never build a new game in that time. Blackout is probably the most like that. There are new areas on some maps. On the map, I believe it's Seaside. You can there's a totally new B flag flank you can go. A lot of the other maps had small changes, new doors, new pathways. They were generally designed to relieve choke points, to make choke points a little bit less punishing while allowing for you to control the area. So it's kind of like a little side routes, little shortcuts for the most part. They did add new guns. They added the B-23R from good old Black Ops 2. It might have a new name, but that gun is the B-23R. There is a Titan light machine gun. Titan's a 50 caliber machine gun, kind of like the Dingo. Titan is a 50 caliber light machine gun, kind of like the Gorgon in Black Ops 3 at 2 hits or 3 at range, depending on how things go. The Hades is kind of a spray gun. They added a Mark 14 sort of marksman rifle and a knife. You can stab people with the knife. Of those, B-23R is by far the biggest game changer. This makes having a pistol way more viable, way more useful for your class. You don't need to load it with attachments. You don't need any special silencer or extended mags. That gun is good to go and lethal just as is. It's way better than having, or at least more reliable than having a Mozu, because you don't have to kit it out. Better than a Strife and better than the shotguns. Speaking of the shotguns, let's talk about operator mods. They added new operator mods to some weapons, and a lot of the new weapons have crazy powerful operator mods. The Hades has a mod called the Crossbar, which is basically like a spaz handle that's been welded to it so that you can do it full hip fire only, and it changes its performance to be nearly identical to the chainsaw from Call of Duty Ghosts. So if you really like the chainsaw from COD Ghost, just a big nasty hip fire machine, and when you aim down sights it tightens up the hip fire a lot, but it's still like really clear and fast, and you sidestep super fast, you can do that. The Titan LMG has an attachment called Fat Barrel, which changes the speed and ballistics and whatever. It's supposed to give you a bigger hitbox on enemies so that you can deal damage even as your bullets fly by them, as I understood it. We tested it out and it didn't seem to be working. I don't know if this is a bug or if I just didn't understand it, but that's there. And the one that had by far the most changes that I noticed was the AA-12 or the semi-automatic shotgun from the beta. That little gun got a huge overhaul. I didn't really like it in the beta because it didn't have a big mag and it took too many shots to kill. Well, now you can put extended mags on it. You've always been able to do that, but you can put on extended mags 2, which turns it into an enormous drum magazine, so you can spray forever. There is a more pellets attachment. I think it was called $2 or something. It takes the amount of pellets that you shoot up from 8 to 10, thus increasing damage. And most notably, you can add a tactical light to it. So when you aim down sights with this weapon, you no longer ADS, you just tighten up a little bit, and it turns on attack light that flashes people. It works for about 10 meters. It's super annoying and trolly. It takes forever to grind for and level up, so I don't see a whole lot of people using it. But of the weapons that got big changes, big buffs, I think the AA-12 got almost a complete overhaul. You could put this thing on, theoretically, I guess if you didn't want perks or anything, you could put on a drum mag, an extended barrel, more pellets, and a big annoying tack light, and you could be a huge troll with this thing, though I don't really think that many people are going to use it. The B-23R is going to be the biggest meta changer. We have emotes in multiplayer, we have sprays, we have voice lines. They operate exactly like they do in Blackout. You just hit the emote and you do it and you dance. It's like Fortnite, it's like PUBG. You've all seen this before in other games. However, adding these made the game way less buggy. The beta build we played, if you didn't notice, had some wonky moments on how it rendered characters and how it handled head bob, and it was very, very noticeable when it came to like play of the game kind of thing. The third person view mode was sort of broken in the beta. It wasn't very reliable. I don't know if you remember how buggy those kill cams were. They would kind of like horror movie stutter step all over the place. But having the emote system in place and finished and polished and good to go, I believe has made a significant frame rate performance improvement. So just having that system ready and not like kind of hodgepodge, I just got better frame rate. I got better frame rate playing here than I did at any point in the beta at home, or at least it was more consistent. I have no idea how they fixed it so fast. Kill cams worked better, spectating worked better. The overall thing flowed much better now that the third person camera is working. There is a criticism I'm definitely going to lay, and that's that there aren't very many new maps. We've already played most of the new maps. Most of the maps that you're going to get in this game are old maps from Black Ops 1 or Black Ops 2, which I guess is kind of old ideas again. But I love those maps. I loved playing on Summit. It plays fantastic here. I loved playing on Firing Range. It plays great here. Jungle plays good in those games. Those maps were good and classic for a reason, and I have no issue whatsoever bringing them back. Probably could use a few more new ones, but I think it's a sort of why fix it if it's not broken mentality. The one map that looked really cool to me that I didn't get to play was the new submarine map called Icebreaker, and this one's really neat because it's Arctic. Your cover is a giant submarine. There's a lot of climbing, and what's really neat is that the floor has an underground. You can swim under just about every single part of the map. You can jump in cracks. You can go under the submarine. You can do a lot of crazy stuff, flanking people by swimming through the water under the ice. But there's a catch. Since this is freezing cold water, if you stay under there, you will freeze and die. We're talking like you will freeze and die before you run out of air. Even if you come back up for air, it's pretty punishing, so you have to be very particular with your flank routes. Unfortunately, I did not get to play this map, so I can't speak on it in a great deal of expertise, but I watched a lot of other people that did play it, and that was my takeaway from it. While we were there, we were offered to play hardcore, but nobody wanted to, myself included. They said hardcore, and we got about 50 boos, so that was a no. I have no idea how that works. Playlists are going to be combined as far as I can tell. We did online matchmaking at this event because the game was pretty much ready. We just kind of had like whitelisted PS4s and we were on and we were playing with devs and like Activision friends and family and people that were remote play. And when we did this, when you went to find a match in multiplayer, there were 5 or 6 total playlists. You had the TDM playlist, which was Chaos TDM, Traditional TDM, and Kill Confirmed. Then you had a Control playlist, which was the new mode Control, but also Hardpoint and Domination, any area control. There was a Search and Destroy playlist, a Heist playlist, and a Hardcore playlist, and that was it. There might have been like a weekly bonus whatever thing that was inactive, but the gist I get from this is that Treyarch is finally making the good decision to combine playlists. There's not going to be any more Capture the Flag and Hardcore Ricochet TDM Domination or freaking, what was that other mode, the football mode, the uplink, like hardcore uplink, and a lot of these really obscure modes that didn't people play, we're just smushing them all in. We got a slaying mode, we got an objective mode, we got a hardcore mode, and if you want to play the objective mode, you'll play a couple of different kind of games, and I think this is overall good for the longevity of the game, and good for the people to play it to force a little bit of variety, though I know people like to control their experience. They like to do what they want to do, and they don't want to be told to do different things. As far as the specialists go, nothing fundamentally changed about them. They're all more or less the same. You've already played with them, you know how they are. There's no new specialists that we got to play, unfortunately. I do know that more are coming, they're just not there right now. The flow of the gameplay was the same, the style, nothing huge changed when it comes to the final version of the multiplayer game. So if you didn't like the multiplayer before, you won't like it now. They've not done anything that's going to change your mind. Similarly, if you loved it before, get ready for more of that because you're going to love it again. It's the same thing, more polished. My opinion, however, and one of the reasons I'm doing this video, has changed significantly after playing Blackout. I think that Blackout is just hands down the better mode, like no competition at all whatsoever, and just about everybody that I've talked to agrees with this, with one exception. I do think Shot still enjoys the multiplayer a lot more than the rest of us, but he likes Blackout better. Everybody else is very, very Blackout focused. For me, multiplayer is just going to be the warm-up mode. I'm going to boot up multiplayer, I'm going to go to the Control playlist, I'm going to screw around with my guns, I'm going to like cheese people with a shotgun. It's no competition at all, it's run and gun and respawn, no brain work. This is just going to be my YOLO mode. I'm going to play with goofy weapons, I'm going to do whatever I want, I don't care. Blackout's going to be the real mode. where I spend most of my time. I'll try hard a little bit. I'll try to get sick tomahawk final kills. Blackout's the mode that I care about, and the issue is that multiplayer was never bad. Multiplayer was never, you know, something that pushed me away, unlike some other people in the community that hated it. But Blackout's just so much better. There's no comparison. It's like there's no going back, right? So that's kind of where I'm at. That's my opinion. I hope you enjoyed the gameplay. Hope you learned something useful. If you did, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Drifter out.